I did my PhD in mechanical engineering, but I was doing research in a material science lab. And that actually really allowed me to do a lot of different interdisciplinary things. I was working with a lot of material scientists, so I had a different perspective on things. I learned a lot about chemistry. I really hadn't taken chemistry since I was a freshman in college, and so I had a really wonderful learning experience as a PhD student. We were focusing on developing membrane materials for water desalination. So the vision was to reduce the cost of water desalination so that we could get fresh water to more places in the world more economically. And we were going to do that by changing the way materials were used for the membrane, for the actual filter that takes the salt out of the water. We developed a membrane. We kind of looked at things from how we could scale things up in the future so that we could look at costs and things like that. And then we looked at the impact that the membrane performance would have on cost. And that's when it started to get a little confusing, because it turns out that there wasn't a lot of impact. And so we had solved a problem that nobody really had. So as I mentioned, I defended my PhD saying that this was a cool research idea. We were not going to be commercializing it. Thank you very much for my PhD. I'm going to go spend 3 months at the beach. And eventually that week read a paper about chemical separations and how we use 12% of all U.S. energy consumption separating different chemical components from one another in the manufacturing sector. So this could be everything from fertilizer to plastic bags to medical devices. And the amount of energy is equivalent to all the gasoline used in all the cars and trucks in the United States every year. So the magnitude is enormous. It's in all these different sectors. And that paper said, well, if only we had better membranes, we could start solving this energy challenge. We could reduce the energy used for this by 90%. And we said, well, if only we had better membranes, and we have a over-engineered membrane over here, is there a good fit? And spent that summer not at the beach, but instead talking to customers across about 15 different verticals and deciding that there was a good fit, that there was a product market fit there, and that we were onto something and could go back to the lab and work on the technology. So that's what we did, and then we started this company kind of towards the end of that year.